Flex Zone, people. We're back. This show's a little bit different. NBA Finals recap. I'm your host, Mikhail Ramos. The usual suspects in the house tonight with me. Dre, Cravante, Byron. Hello.
What's up? What it
do?
Hey, Mikhail.
Welcome to... That was dry. Hi, Mikhail. Welcome to the Flex Zone on Fox Sports 1340 AM. The only place we give you sports how you want it, when you need it. Finals recap. The NBA Finals are done. Also, basketball. I mean, you know, with June and the summer amongst us, the first day of summer amongst us, with basketball being out the way, the dog days of the sports mind come our way. Can you really hold on till August when those helmets come back and those pads come back and a great team called the Washington Redskins take the field?
Woo woo.
Hey, yay, yay. Anyways, go like us on our Facebook page, Flex Zone. Follow us and comment on Twitter and Instagram at The Flex Zone. When you have any questions, ideas, or possibly want to be a guest, send us an email to theflexzone1@gmail.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tonight's show, man. You know, this is a special. Sometimes you got to take things aside from the regular show and give it a special. This special is all the X's and O's that we did not discuss on the actual show the other day. With that said, Cavs versus Warriors, Game 7, people, Father's Day last Sunday. So shout out to all the fathers out there. Happy freaking Father's Day to every father in the room. The Warriors, 73-9, does not matter. Defeated by the Cleveland Cavaliers and a man that's known as LeBron James. One word, 2 syllables, greatness. Byron, you missed most of the talk the other night. You unfortunately could not join us. So, quickly, LeBron, the legacy, taking care of the Warriors, 3-1 deficit, 50-something years since the whole city of Cleveland has gotten anything. Wow.
Talk about putting a team on your back. Talk about putting a city on your back. LeBron definitely did that here in this series. You remember when he went back home, he talked about he came for one reason, that's to win the championship. And he said it wasn't going to be easy, and last year was a true testament of that. But you got to give credit to LeBron James at age 31 now, mature, in probably the best shape of his life. I know people were talking about he may have lost a step. He's not the same player. But he's had, especially this postseason and in his finals especially, as great a performance as you will see. Things come to mind, the Jordan flu game. You think of even LeBron's past performances against the Pistons. But LeBron getting it done 3-1 against a team that looked like they were just on their way to back-to-back championships. Imposing his will on every asset of the game, filling up every asset of the stat sheet as well.
LeBron James, now that he actually, it reminds me of that Drew Hill song, Never Make a Promise You Can't Keep. He actually made this one. He bought a championship to his beloved city, his beloved home. Now, he can either walk away and they can't say nothing, or he could stay. And you talk about legacy, and Michael Jordan accumulated as many MVPs as he accumulated championships. Kobe, as much of an individualistic player as they made him, he said, forget the MVPs. I want the ring. If he could have left with 6, he would have left with 6. LeBron is at 3. Now that you've gotten people to shut up, it must be continuing. You must be consistent. He must accumulate. So the job still isn't over. And what would we have said if it did not happen? If this was a whole different scenario? Byron, I have to talk to you because I miss you.
That's okay. I miss you too. But I think I always said if LeBron ever got a championship in Cleveland, it would equate to 2 championships. And what I mean by that is the amount of time the city has been without a championship, the amount of heartbreak, whether it's the drive, the fumble, the shot. You think about Cleveland sports, it's not many good memories, especially in recent times with the Browns, the Indians, even the Cavaliers when LeBron left, and even when he was there not being able to get a championship. This solidifies LeBron's legacy if it wasn't solidified already, which it should have been, but as one of the greatest, probably he'll go down as no question, probably one of the 5 greatest players ever, and definitely try to edge his stone in that Mount Rushmore. And he's not done yet. Looking at this team, I don't think he'll leave Cleveland, but looking at the core, playing in the East, this team will be right back here next year and have a chance to do it again.
First major pro sports title for Cleveland since December 27th, 1964. Anywho, let's go into the game. Shall we? Let's dissect this game. Final 5 minutes and 30 seconds of the game. 7 Warriors, 2 points, 1 from 10 for the field, 0 free throws, 0 from 7 from 3. Uncanny for a team that shoots threes. Cavs, on the other hand, 10 points, 2 from 9 from the field, 4 from 5 from the free throw line, 2 from 3-point land. Down the stretch, Cravante, how important was it?
Oh, it was very important. That's when we saw the greatness that is Kyrie Irving as well. Unfortunately, the old cliche, you live by the three, you die by the three, and they definitely died within the last, 5 minutes? Only 2 points. This was a team that averaged 115 points throughout the season, and they didn't even get 80. Oh, no, they didn't even get 90, unfortunately.
Who's hurting more from this, you got to look at it this way. Oklahoma City. You got Adams, you got Serge Ibaka. They had all these big guys switching on the Warriors. Cavs must have looked at that and said, hey, we may have some bigs that can do the same. Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love was out there a little bit. Did Oklahoma City show how you can make them? And for a long time, me and you talked about seeing the Warriors flinch. Mm-hmm. Did they kind of show them how you can really make them flinch and just take them totally? Because the whole series to me, they were down 3-1, but the fourth game to me, internally, was emotionally. Because once they took them out of the game in Game 6, they took them emotionally out of it. You talking about how you gonna go home and get your swagger back in Game 7?
Right. I definitely think they do have the blueprint, but the thing is, everybody doesn't have this blueprint. They had a guy by the name of Russell Westbrook who made Curry work on the defensive side of the ball, which takes away from his offensive side of the ball because, see, what the Warriors do, they do a good job at hiding Curry's deficiencies on defense. They play great team defense, and he's just a part of the team. He's just another piece. But if you separate him individually, you see the flaw in Curry.
You talk about Steph Curry. Yeah, he may have a defensive flaw, but I mean that's not to his credit that his. I mean, look at it this way: the bigs stopped him from doing what he's able to do in this series. I mean, let's be real. Kyrie Irving did not play that much defense, and if Russell Westbrook can talk about the defense that Steph Curry did on him, let's retract to him getting crossover as well in what was the last series. So it's up to the guards that have to guard him to actually play to make him guard them. But not everybody's Gary Payton.
No, not at all. Matter of fact, I don't think it's not many you can say that even can replicate what Gary Payton was doing in his prime. But I wouldn't even give much credit to the bigs. I say defensively what OKC and Cleveland did to Curry, they hit him, man. He wasn't really touched all year. Like throughout the 73-9 season, he wasn't really touched like that.
Fouling out, getting all caught up in the head, throwing mouthpieces.
Definitely not characteristic.
The baby blue-eyed assassin became the monster. He couldn't find him. He had an out-of-body experience, and where it hurt the most, game on the line, I think it was 2 minutes left in the game, you have Steph Curry, a straightaway three, bread and butter all year long.
I don't think he hit nothing.
Wasn't able to make. I don't even hit the rim.
I don't think it hit nothing.
Wasn't even able to hit the rim. Dre. I don't know if I want to ask this question. First, I'm going to ask you about greatness. From a man that emotionally picked the Cavs, but what came out of his mouth was the Warriors. Nobody wants to see LeBron James win, you said. I mean, lose, you said. But the Warriors will win. Me personally, I would have liked you if you want to stick to the courage of your convictions, if those are the words that come out of your mouth normally, I would have enjoyed for you to stick to your courage and convictions and say Cleveland Cavaliers. However, greatness.
First of all, you ain't pull up when Stephen A. Smith said the same exact thing.
But Stephen A. Smith isn't on my show, sir. And Stephen A. Smith doesn't make. I don't make his bucks.
Nevertheless.
So the dead clock and all that 3 times a day. Let's go.
Dead clock is right twice a day, and I would have been right, but no, seriously. If you look at the game, what they should have done in the fourth quarter, because in Steph Curry as the point guard, you have to be able to know who has the hot hand and when able to be able to distribute the ball. And Draymond Green throughout that game, he nearly had a triple-double, but he didn't find Draymond Green when he should have, because that game was Draymond Green's.
I'm about to say he was non-existent in the third quarter to a degree.
In Game 5, it was Klay Thompson. So you have to be able to know who, as the point guard, who has the hot hand, and I also blame Steve Kerr a big portion of this too, because Steve Kerr, as the head coach, should be able to ring in his team and be able to know who should get the ball and when as well.
A lot of people, Steve Kerr is taking a lot of criticism. I understand. This is a Tyronn Lue. The last time we saw Tyronn Lue in the finals, somebody was stepping over him. Shout out to the answer. So, I mean, his finals record, could you really think it was that impeccable? However, to say Tyronn Lue outcoached Steve Kerr, couldn't you just say that Steve Kerr did everything he possibly could? And everything they had big guys. They try to switch Ezeli. They try to bring out
Most Spades.
Spades. They try to bring him in. They tried to bring in Varejao. That didn't work.
I mean,
then they tried to play small ball, and then that put him at a disadvantage.
But
so
they call that.
So
What they call that, Byron? They call it the dead. That's the dead lineup.
The
death lineup. Excuse me.
Yeah, because
small ball is their ball.
Let's not forget their defensive anchor Andrew Bogut goes down in game. What was that game?
Game
five. Game five.
Yeah,
Game 5.
No, it was game 5.
Because the game was tied at halftime. He goes down.
They was in Oakland.
Exactly.
Okay, but
and that was right after because Draymond Green got suspended from game 4, so he didn't play in game 5.
So my thing is, if we're gonna sit up there and call Steve Kerr the coach of the year, somebody who only coached 39 games, and then he wasn't able to make the proper adjustments and to be able to adapt, then he has to be held accountable too as a head coach. Because Tyronn Lue was able to adapt during the course of this finals. He was able to make the proper adjustments, and hence why we are saying it. Here calling the Cleveland Cavaliers the world champions.
It's so easy to say when you have LeBron James.
I'm about to say, did he really make any
but
adjustments?
He had Steph Curry, the Splash Brothers. The numbers show for themselves. The Warriors throughout the season could not be stopped. Even in the playoffs, when they were down 3-1, we up there still not saying that they're done, and then they were able to come back from a 3-1 deficit.
I think to your point, Steve Kerr, you're absolutely right. He does deserve some type of blame for this because I feel like he had no backup plan. Because all throughout the year, the Warriors have been shooting amazing. And unfortunately for this series, they didn't. And it was like he had nowhere else to go. Like,
and
you're
Harrison
playing,
Barnes couldn't.
You can't flinch now because you're playing against LeBron now. And you're playing against LeBron that's ready to prove the world. Like, I'm here. And I'm about to get Cleveland a championship. Like, he didn't have a plan B.
And let's talk about how the bench kind of sort of fell off. If the bench wins game 1 and 2, I mean, you talking about Splash Brothers 2, Barbosa and Sean Livingston. Harrison Barnes went so cold. I watched JR make all these shots on the other side. I'm like, who are?
But wait a minute. That's different though because J.R. Smith starts for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
But Harrison Barnes started a couple of the games.
No, but I'm saying to her point when she's talking about the bench. I mean, if you're sitting up here talking about the Golden State Warriors bench, but for a lot of this series, Cleveland's bench didn't show up.
The whole series.
The whole bench.
So I mean, it was kind of like LeBron and Kyrie were bust.
But see, with the Warriors, everybody contributes. I've been saying all year they have the best lineup 1 through 12, but excuse me. Harrison Barnes, who actually didn't show up.
Yeah.
So I mean, the bench won you like 2 games. That's all you can ask for. Your superstars gotta show up in the crunch.
Speaking of superstars, let's talk about Kyrie Irving, shall we? Kyrie Irving, the lone hero. We all know who the big hero is. We all know who's going to take Captain America.
Right.
However, even Robin had his day.
Right.
And Kyrie Irving had his day in the biggest moment of his life. That 3 when it went up, I was like, oh. He made the 3. Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. When Kyrie Irving's able to do his own thing and be who he is and not pay attention to who LeBron James is, it kind of sort of works for him. However, at the same time, how long, Byron, will he be able to stay in this role? I mean, look at Russell Westbrook. At some point, he's been able to come out of his shell and say, I may be able to stand alone besides Kevin Durant. And is LeBron James hurting or helping Kyrie more?
Well, when you're paying a guy $95 million, he got to be one of the guys. I believe that with Kyrie, you see, even when LeBron wasn't there, Kyrie can he can get his against anybody.
Yes, sir.
As good as there is offensively, point guard, any position, probably one of the best 4 or 5 scorers we have in the NBA today. But when you think about this series, some of the turning points that we talked about off air, you look at the Game 5 in Oakland, the Game 3 in Cleveland, and even Game 7, that fall away 3. These shots were shots that make you, look at the Kobe's, these were great shots against excellent defense. He put this game away. He put the game. LeBron even let him put the game in his hands. His ability to score from the perimeter, and dare I say, LeBron rolled his coattails to a degree as well.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. He didn't step on his. He didn't step on his toes. He allowed Kyrie Irving to be great because when LeBron steps into a situation, everything changes.
And maybe that was for the best because that was the turning point to actually help him
And
get over
LeBron
the
realized that.
And I don't know if he was mentally ready. Granted, last year he put the team on his back. This year he put the team on his back. But I don't know if he was mentally ready, if Kyrie Irving was healthy, to let Kyrie be Kyrie last year.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Now you get it.
Yeah.
Now you get it. This rematch. Do we see it again?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, probably. And I would say that because the Spurs are diminishing, and Kevin Durant may not be in Oklahoma City, and that's Warriors competition in the West.
If Kevin Durant goes to the East, what does that do for the Eastern Conference? In the Cavs' chances, depending on where he goes.
It's an instant upgrade for the Eastern Conference wherever he goes, and it's probably going to be him and LeBron in the East Finals wherever KD goes. I feel like it's going to be KD and LeBron in the finals. But if he goes to the East, the Warriors will definitely go back because they don't have no competition.
And their core is signed. Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry will all be there for the foreseeable future with Steve Kerr.
What do they have to look forward to as far as the Warriors? What do they need to do as far as shaking off these wins? Like, you don't have to go into next season winning 73 games anymore. That's you already done it. But what kind of mentality do you take going into last year? Because if Oklahoma City had one of the biggest meltdowns in NBA history, I mean, you pretty much did too at the wrong time to be the most historical team. Because either way, Dre, like you said, it could have went historical either way. And let's be real, they've faced their own adversities as far as the haters this year. LeBron has had some. I mean, they weren't supposed to win it last year. People had something to say about how they didn't play this person, that person, this person. Steve Kerr goes down. Steve Kerr wasn't supposed to be coach of the year. Unanimous. Oh, my God, I can't believe Steph Curry's unanimous. They win 73 games. They got to seal the deal.
They didn't.
And then they had the injuries, and then Steph went down. And so every 3-1 deficit, so every adversity, if they would have went over it and got the championship, they could have shut some haters up, too.
Absolutely.
I think they quieted a lot of their haters. I mean, to have Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and that was the point where you lost within a couple of minutes. I mean, what the things that they were able to do this season, it was historic. We can't take nothing away and say that they had a bad season.
They made it look so effortless.
They had a great season overall. Did they come up a little short? Yes. But I think they can use this as motivation and as a learning point for them to move forward, and you'll see this team again.
You might not want to be the MVP. I'm learning. In leagues, I don't want to be the MVP. It's like being employee of the year. I mean, employee of the month. You notice everybody who get employee of the month, they even get clipped soon or something? Because look what happens when you MVP. Cam Newton?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And then here we go, Steph Curry.
It's more
and
pressure.
these are two people that at one point combined for 33-0.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure, but then on top of that, he got unanimous MVP.
Unanimous.
Like, this never like Kobe didn't get unanimous MVP. Mike didn't get unanimous. LeBron, nobody's got unanimous before this point. Like all this, and then your team is an historic team because they won 73 games. Like it's so much pressure, and then all the implications that happened during the series. It was a lot, and I think he flinched.
I don't really think that he flinched per se. I think something isn't right with Steph. It may be an injury with the shoulder.
He ran out of gas.
We're hearing about the knees. We're hearing about the
it.
ankles. I think that too. I think it was a combination of he was hurt and he just didn't want to use it as an excuse, along with fatigue, because to win 73 games, he played majority of the season, and then he had back-to-back. He had back-to-back Game 7s.
But he was sitting out fourth quarters.
He only averaged 34, 35 minutes.
And he was sitting fourth quarters because they were blowing teams out the way they were blowing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, every fourth game is like you taking away a game.
But isn't this the most traveled team in NBA history as well? They've taken a lot of road trips.
That may be, but this is the same team
and
that was up 3-1 on the Cavs.
I mean, we can go back to when they were, I think it was 24-0.
Yeah.
And then you called it and you said eventually the streak is going to come to an end because of that long travel.
Absolutely.
Byron?
I just think it's a myriad of things you could say. I mean, we really don't know. They missed a lot of shots that you normally make. A couple careless turnovers, even in the Game 7. behind the back passes that were ill advised, just things that you don't normally see with this team, and it's something that will haunt them for the rest of their career, especially this summer, and maybe motivate them more. I think they'll be back. The core, like I said, is signed, and they know what it takes to get it done. Let's not forget they did win 67 games 2 years ago,
Right.
so they could be right in that 60-plus win club again, and we could be saying, well, the Warriors are on the collision course with the Cavaliers. This is a modern-day rivalry. I mean, you know, heavy rivalries of the past. Haven't had too many recently, but I think this is a rivalry a lot of NBA fans will get accustomed to seeing, and Cleveland and Golden State.
This may be a little Lakers Celtics.
That's what I was thinking.
God,
If you didn't have your popcorn out for this Game 7,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, this series period, because this is what we needed in a long time.
And-
In a long time. I was at the edge of the bed like, what's about to happen?
oh,
next?
yeah.
we
I'm
have
sure
two
we all
teams that actually don't like each other.
They really don't.
I mean, you see throughout the course of the season,
I got something to say about you. You got saying me?
Steph Curry talking about he can still smell the champagne. LeBron, you know, when you could see the animosity there when he was blocking Steph's shot, and
Yeah.
he's talking trash to Steph, he's talking trash to Draymond. So this is a good rivalry.
And
something
Draymond
that
talk back.
something that we've lacked in sports recently, not only in the NBA but in sports period.
Right.
We
right.
haven't really had rivals like that.
I mean, if you grew up in the '90s, and besides the fights that happened with Miami and New York, anytime you can talk trash and the refs gets in the middle and they allow you to talk trash and knowing nothing's going to happen, and that's the game. This is a good game. But speaking of, we talking about this is one of the best Game 7s and the best series in a long time. A lot of people haven't touched this topic in their finals recap, and I figured, who am I to deny the flex zone of bringing it up? What's better, people? This is about the moolah. If it ain't about the money, T.I., what's better? 73-9 team winning, or LeBron in greatness? Dare I ask the question? Some would ask, after Game 6, rigged.
I just asked Asha,
I'm ask
right?
you first. That smile you gave on your face, you already know why, because we talked about this on air. Rigged. I got off the phone with my father after the game was over. I can't believe LeBron only had one foul the whole game. After certain things, Steven Jackson's comments about how hard they played, if you thought this was rigged, nobody's expanded on that. But highest, what is it, the highest ranking Game 7
Highest rated game
ever in so long.
18.9 rating.
And if you talk about that, this is the game that went from what? 8? If you stayed and watched the post game, that's a 8 to 1 a.m. ordeal, depending on when you went to sleep. Because if you had enough, you had enough. If you didn't have enough, you was going to stay and watch.
I mean, listen, over the past 2 years, the NBA definitely lost some money. We go back to the Spurs and the Heat, when the Spurs destroyed them in historical fashion in 5 games. That's 2 extra games that wasn't played. Go to last year. LeBron had none of his horses. He was supposed to lose last year because there was no way to create that storyline. Only in 6 games, they lost the game. It was no way that this series wasn't going 7 games. And look at the storyline. Warriors kill them in the first 2 games. Game 3, all of a sudden, they just beat this same team by 30 and lose by 30. I'm just saying, it's a lot of things going. It's really weird. Game 4, they won, but Draymond and LeBron get into that little incident. Boom. Warriors are up 3-1. Draymond Green gets suspended for Game 5. Boom. Bogut gets hurt. Cleveland goes into Oakland and wins. Now they got momentum. Go back to Game 6. Bogut is out for the rest of the series.
And
right?
that's what you wanted. You wanted Game 7 in Oracle. Why? Because this team only won lost 2 games
2
at home, and
yeah.
that wasn't until the playoffs. So you telling me I go 7-3-9, and the only games I lose at home are in the playoffs, and I lose Game 7 at home, where I think that's. You sure you want to come to Oracle? Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like, look at the story. It's a beautiful storyline. It's a beautiful storyline that
A 50-something
that folks are selling.
A 50-year record is erased by LeBron.
Yep, it's a storyline. Listen. LeBron James. Look. Just think about this. I'm thinking about this like while Game 7 happens. Like, wow. When I really realized like Cleveland might just win this game, LeBron James gives Cleveland Cavaliers their first NBA title ever. You know what I'm saying? Cleveland hasn't had a title since when?
1964.
And none in basketball. You know what I'm saying? He beats a 73-9 team, an historical team. He also beats the unanimous MVP. I mean, look at it. It writes itself.
The integrity of the game. The integrity of the game. Let's hold on to the integrity of the game. Basketball is over, but what are we looking forward to in this off season? Are we looking for a very shifty off season? Are we looking for? I mean, we all know Kevin Durant's the main attraction of this off season. However, what teams are you looking to rise above and maybe do some things and shake some things up in the East? The Raptors. Things. Where's Mike Conley going? Things of that nature. You, my friend.
NBA draft coming up. Interesting to see. Boston Celtics, 8 draft picks. That is a lot of picks to have. Nowhere they're picking 8 players, so keep your eye on what they might do with that pick. Like you said, looking to see what New York does. New coach, Jeff Hornacek. Looking to see, like I said, where Durant goes. Does he take somebody with him? Look at Golden State. They have a few players that retain themselves. Harrison Barnes, Azili, to name a few. Barbosa. So be some shifting. Of course, a couple opt-outs. Dirk Nowitzki, Dwight Howard. Definitely will be a fun offseason.
Like Dwight Howard opts out every other year, right?
Nobody cares. Like, why is he even? Whatever.
I
don't even. Not even get into the whole Dwight Howard spiel because he didn't live up to what he's supposed to do.
And speaking of the Warriors, their assistant coach who coached them for the first.
Luke Walton's going to L.A., baby.
Let's
talk about this. Good old Stephen A. Reports say Cleveland denies it, of course. But if LeBron wants to walk, he can walk in true fashion because he did what he was supposed to do. L.A. If he goes to L.A., the Reaper, I forget what they call Kevin Durant, may truck along.
I don't, no, I don't think. I think LA is a bit of a stretch for LeBron, at least.
You thought you had trouble in Cleveland? The name that spells the Lakers on your uniform?
I don't think he wants that problem.
Do you want that big enough pressure too?
I don't think LeBron would dare go to the Western Conference Finals, period. And on top of that,
he'd be out there like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz.
LeBron is the type of player that likes to set the team up before he gets there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he went to Miami. Dwayne Wade was already there. Let's bring Chris Bosh along. He comes back to Cleveland. Kyrie Irving's already there. Let's bring Kevin Love along. See, it's some things that he like to set. He like to have set up already in place. And LA is still in a rebuilding mode.
Set up. Can we quickly have the conversation that would have been if LeBron would have lost? What words do you say then? If this was not here now, if he would have lost, what would the conversation be right now?
I mean, it definitely legacy. It's always the same thing at the end of the day. Legacy. You're 2-5. They about to put you in the same category as Jerry West and Elgin Baylor, and not in a good way.
But I mean, at the same time, if he would have lost this finals, I don't think it would have been equivalent to last year when he lost, because this was a historic team that he would have lost to.
No.
Last year he just didn't have all his. Last year he just didn't have all his pieces. Mm-mm. This year, I mean, the Warriors, it looked like nobody was stopping them.
Nope. He had all his players. Everybody was healthy. There was no excuse this year. If he'd have lost, he'd have took more rap than ever before.
It wasn't an excuse,
and
but it
he
would
had
have
all his
definitely
pieces,
been something.
but this was the Big Three 2.0 because all his pieces did not contribute totally to what that Big Three was supposed to really be.
Yeah, they definitely won. You know what I'm saying? In spite of Kevin Love.
Any final thoughts? Basketball season's over. We got a minute left.
LeBron, now with 3 rings, the question is, how many does he finish with? The shape he's in, the athlete he is, he can play legitimately like Jordan until he's 40. And we know he's going to be in the finals next year and the year after that and probably the year after that.
But is that guaranteed? That's not always
guaranteed. Minus major injuries.
It is guaranteed.
Yeah. It's pretty much, for him, it's pretty much sealed. And at this point, any LeBron haters, stop the hate, and you might as well tune into the King James version of your Bible, baby.
What meme did you get off Instagram to say that one? Anyways.
I like that, Jerry.
We want to thank True Sounds for our theme song. Don't forget to like us on our Facebook page, The Flex Zone. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Flex Zone 1. If you have any questions, ideas, or possibly want to be a guest, send us an email to theflexzone1@gmail.com. Subscribe to that beautiful YouTube channel, The Flex Zone. Tonight's show is executively produced by Andre Meltzer. Our senior producer is Crevante Hurt, and the host is me, of course. Thanks, Byron, for sticking it out with us. Our videographers are Sophia Bree. Our engineer is Ty. And our social media coordinator is Terrell. Shout out to everyone. And Hugh. He's in the building.
Dwayne Allen.
Dwayne Allen. And I'm going to say it like I say it, this, even though it's a special. I don't care. I'm going to say it like I say it every week. I'm going to like Kevin McKellen. The special. Basketball. What is it, Byron?
We gone.
In basketball.
Put some respect on LeBron name.
Basketball, it's what?
It's gone.
It's gone.
Unfortunately.
It's a wrap, people.
Peace.